the minority caucus are mobile mudeni a case at Forson. Omo concern omo raising now ne say ye Bank of Ghana governor Yura Ernest Anderson yenjinedi crime free ho ne deputy sinina na semi okay ni refi no say no deputy mrebi Emma Mahamo no so tweska bumbi mano ene miracle Aboagye atena say the more revelations about yen say brepi no yenti miracle.
I mean, you see, whatever is happening today, no, a call see in summer every the year 2020 bepemone aban we aka and me they be make say a kwaya na no dan kweku for the ne Dr. Mahmoud be about me aban we e de Ghana afaso from 2020 to 2023 no and then yin but I can tell you say in the very near future in this same room we'll be discussing it. There Yana said normally no see ye cannot at that time bro ni be say na aye belated to one shana ne kakra anyede senior Bank of Ghana opa ko hwe more report no more books 2017 abaya anko Bank of Ghana anko giske bi enfri 2018 abaya anko ho 2019 abaya anko ho it was in 2020 COVID ba ye ni mo abaya anko ho ekoje support from BOG 2021 abaya anko ho 2022 and abaya anko ho. This basically comes to confirm the long-standing position of government say our economy was doing very, very well and was on a growth path between 2017 and 2019 until COVID came. Yakasa, yakebi almost na bibia COVID, no me say bibia COVID. But the figures and the facts clearly show say bibi shunku bi see. And that within the period na bibi shunku bi any kono, we were doing well. Ana 2017 yanko. Ana 2018 yanko. Senior, I na 2019 yanko. Ana 2020 between January and June yanko. It was because our economy was disrupted by situation yen who be that in the last 120 years. The last time we see you know Spanish flu time. In fact, me ni say Ghana ha e betumi aka nipa be 50 omo asia. Omo experience Spanish flu. But that's what we experienced. At the end of what you experience, you know, anka yen kwampo na anka to yen. Anka bia ye okwa be fa so the best source, e be the best source no. Senior, omo ye ni omo didwa edigita ho nyina were affected. Enu nti baby esese ye tumi ko didwa. Ni ye tumi nya sika be boy ho bra ni nyina no. Omo nyina de omo adwuma ni omo nyina egu fam. So the supply chain of the global economy, it was disrupted. Yakasa, yaka. But the figures clearly show say ampa every single thing shocks I experienced in Biano was within that period.
Ebiana mwaka but yenjindi.
But say you see our figures in the way. And 2017, 2018, 2019 yanko build. And 2021 yanko. Because okay say in 2021 a lot of countries started seeing glimpse of recovery. And then somewhere late 2021, November, December, they started challenges, especially when this war, the friend is saying Russia-Ukraine war, you started around August, September 2021, and then somebody disrupting Yama. Senior, these are facts. Sanyama we own say yeah, can I say 1 2 boys and one far chronological way to still make any year. Obama opposition political party. No. To try and you any. Me say, Embrani was the middle of COVID now. This government was doing everything possible to make sure that we don't experience what Italy, Spain, and the rest experience. Where was the opposition? At some point, Grandpa and Yaka and Kolantri, your man got the MBS Kuban Kolanko. Sometimes, Nany and Churchill Foka. Over 400,000 SMEs in the war mine women are buying with this game a warm. Even private school teachers, Grandpa, at some point, this government spends money on private school teachers. To make sure say omo ebe tomu kakra in the middle of crisis. She unplanned and unbudgeted for expenditure in the health sector. She the number of additional health professionals we have to recruit. Even retirees Krampo at that point had to come back. Me, I was a municipal chief executive prof. And I tell you say, your budget now within that year no, you find the case the bay. A crop on do baby no. Not the question empire saying. Intedu baby no, ya kokwa man school ni akopo mo che so mo fa Akufo house dormitory blocks in my.
Me am school.
Engum.
Yeah, you school.
Yes. School. Yes. And
so on school kwa man.
We dey see a problem.
On school kwa.
And said the only school. Yeah, secondary kind.
David, yeah, secondary.
You kwa man school. Secondary kind.
From PO Box 99, you kwa kwa.
Because I know. Yes. So the only house in Akufo house.
David, any a champion house.
Now come go pass it.
A champion house. And a founder's house. No, or this school buy no.
So which is the best house?
Founder's house.
Yeah, they a house.
Now you see school no.
Room. Was the room mom? We see house. Yes. Me my district. When I was a municipal chief executive, at some point there, you call private individuals so. Ne ajomu fie. Okwa, o say this all renovate. Entini afa buying sika. Near the acquire sa renovation no. We were buying beds and mattresses unplanned for. We were feeding people who in Kofore Fia. Senior Saokaya. They are form of airport pay. They don't call M Plaza.
Yeah.
If you remember.
M Plaza African Regent.
Yes. And we're paying the hotel for every day sleep and feeding them morning, afternoon, evening. The people have forgotten. Sask can free. Yeah. And to Okape, normally Oka, they trivialize it. Normally, so and I saw Senior Bekaya lockdown feeding Kakebino. And I'm saying that is not that wasn't the issue. You remember at some point, you never far with the airport, we had tested positive. Okay, you know your banker. Even those in our municipalities, grandpa, your mom, we are self-quarantine. We're sending them resources for them to live on. Because you didn't want a situation where we say, me need your medi. Intermediate, me pia kwa bonti akope dia medi. So when they even self-quarantine in their homes, the government was giving them resources to live on. The top provisions. We have forgotten. Senior, you remember the early days of COVID? Those were the times I can't say when you COVID crying.
Sure.
Me, my municipality, I'm telling you, my constituency women organizer. Odimatam your video for baby. Are they? I know for my money, you know what I those times now when health ministry is announcing, they will say a young lady so and so age returned from Belgium has been identified. Say. We remember the early days, that was how COVID was announced.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately for me, that description about na fete na pepe.
No, we took Kwayaba.
We took Kwayaba. Officer country name say. Or say hey, but the idea to about me. I didn't mention his name.
Her name, yeah.
The team, no, announced say this was our first case in the municipality. Until somebody returned from so and so country, Until as we speak, we are managing the situation. Into be our maintain. You know that's how health ministry was announcing the thing. Me say yes, I'm ketwa. Sometimes now usro krase bobo di eye na me COVID me nya be 20 times I'm eating. And I don't say ya kato so pe no be adwane.
Obi adwane efiri ho.
But people like this, you know, we were spending money on them. The government was spending on them. The government was building emergency facilities across the country. Chips compounds. We had to quickly look for money and boost these chips compounds to levels. Senior, we had to buy thermometers, buy oxygen, buy beds for hospitals. Later, if you people have lost weight, people were rather dying from malaria and typhoid. You know why? Because the hospitals were more concerned with the COVID cases. The malarias and typhoids were remaining at home. So in a lot of the municipalities, our responsibility then the government gave to us and they said we should boost the CHIPS compounds and the health centers so that they can handle the malarias and the typhoids. Then the hospitals like the Tetekwashi and Kono can handle the COVID cases. Look at me, my area, all the way to Medina. Where home will be about. There's no district hospital in Adente. There's none. Until all of them were moving towards Tetekwashi. Every Ekwapem South Tetekwashi or Tetekwashi. So we have about 6 municipalities in the district. Omoba Tetekwashi Memorial Hospital. We didn't have the capacity. What it meant was that we had to overrun and outrun ourselves. Government had to buy Veronica buckets for even private institutions to encourage people to wash their hands. Government was buying. Government was buying hand sanitizers and giving it for free.
Veronica bucket.
At some point, government.
Yes.
At some point, Aboagye had to contract institutions in the factories or traditional business and your sanitizer to produce more. I'm telling you, I don't come money idea.
I don't go.
Angel money idea. We had to get.
Angel, that's your friends. I don't.
Yeah. We had to fund. Aboagye had to buy. We have forgotten. Secondary schools, government had to spend millions. We have forgotten. Basic schools, Oko school, Nima Kolebia, Yebemano, a friend said no mask, me and sa. Niaman hand sanitizer. It's a buy money. We have forgotten. We have to buy thermometer guns for public institutions. Thermometer guns, about beginning, no. Almost about 10,000 to 12,000, if you remember.
Shield, no. Glass shield,
government had to buy
200, 300.
Government had to buy. Because at that point, you know, it's not enough for government to say, Horonsa, Fasemina, Horonsa. Debbie, say government, if government wanted people to actually comply there, government had to provide it. It's government provided. Lorry parks. Obeko Trotro station, no, then the page in a watch check mask. And man, Professor Munshe.
We
have forgotten. We built hospitals and clinics and health centers within 6 months. We have forgotten. Where was the money coming from? What was government supposed to do? Government was supposed to pretend as if once there's no money, there's nothing to do and allow people to die. Me, within the short period of 4 months, that means I COVID bear 4 times. Because I was supposed to be in the line of fire.
So
do one day near Fro be a froze and ewu. Now one drop now Jamaica. To be Fred District Health Director and so on. You remember when the thing came? Nobody really knew how this whole thing was. It's a could be. Near me call 2 days, 3 days. Now me COVID. Now my bed ho. Me da ho 5 days. Now me want to me. Now me sign me COVID. Within that period of 2020, me COVID by 6 times. If you really wanted to intervene and help, car crab if any panel, if any fee, at that hospital, no, we have to provide.
Municipality.
Yes, the health directorate in our municipality. On your case, or be fraud chief. Almost say I'm before be friend say Tim Komu. You have to provide them. You had baby. We have to marshal secondary schools cars and the buses for the health directorate. We have forgotten. These are things that happened in the period.
It's like you have also forgotten so to treat.
You fear home. When we na yema e see one bra na yam planning you. What one year froze onu you last week. You done for back pa. E pese me boni. E you mo GCB. Near to one year kai. Oh ya. Oh M Plaza.
Oh sir?
Yes. Oh yeah. COVID cool no M Plaza. Me na kasa Tuesday. Thursday the friends we.
That's painful.
Tuesday no on your real. Thursday the friends we. That is how bad the situation was. That's how people died. It is and don't forget, the president knew, say we didn't have resources for that situation. And see, Obekaya or say, it was for baby doing the here resources. You can say a dream sika one shot nipa bebre den ebewu. Na mum so obi wu a ye nimu ekwan ebefa so a ye de ne bebe den ebe se aba nkwam. Na mu economy ne de se esai pansam kra. You know, quite before so the bed. You best say Akufaba. You think the president didn't know that we didn't have budget for that emergencies? He knew. He knew that we didn't have budget to recruit the health professionals we recruited. On him say any budget. Emma, sad a friend is saying, allowances na yedema health professionals at that time. No him say any budget for it. Because we had to save lives. Because in Crawford who, and I make I say, so who, so mami who. So when the situation we found ourselves in during the COVID time, and our debate politics. But if you were in some of us our situation, and I would do when people were lying on the floor, oxygen, and yes, a hospital and it's more deal. Nemo onimpa and what it is that the government had to do in 2020. Offer were down for Dr. Bia all to me wow because in Pano I am ma
Ebiniho.
That is how bad our situation was. Edu baby no, uko port kra, empa belt no, ye pia for private people craft ya butcher sa, edu kra clearing kra, aban kra nye hu kra say den ye de back, ude mu yimra ne mfa nkrofo na so. Enti se ne, ya yes how no money nyina. Ghana ha, till date, go and read all reports online. Ghana remains one of the countries that best managed COVID in the world.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, now then I said the reports are there. WHO Munina have said it. To date, concerted effort private sector, public sector institutions, the collaboration between the security, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, it started as one of the best. Private sector, now even see how private sector even contributed towards the fight, the fight against COVID. We did all of this because we had to curtail the pandemic. And you want to yin. Yareno, CCA to Mr. Swano, until all of a sudden, the person pretended to say. But the good news is, Ghana for no more go through that situation. No money. They have not forgotten. So you can do all the politics. We to buy our politics, no partisanship. But Ghana for now, almost experience situation in him say, I buy way there. Sabano COVID management and there. This government has done this country a lot of good. And in the future, maybe not today, maybe not 10 years from now, maybe 20 years from now, in the future, every single person that lived between 2020 and now would remember the Nana Kwekufado and the MPP government.
Yes, yeah, no question. COVID create problems. Obi say, nani area midwife na no unya allowance. No cre. Obi so say miracles for free water ni free light ikaho. Or say a friend ma Kofi ni Juban. But Obi so say in spite of which no, Jitung said there was also mismanagement.
Yeah, you see, one of the biggest thing to do in this world is to speculate. One of the biggest crime against democracy, let me put it that way, is to speculate. Okay, say mismanagement. No one must specifics. Is it not true? Say allowances say the man midwives say nurses no na ye ni budget unti say you free baby. Is it not true? Say nearby you provide the intervention you provide the ni budget unti say you free baby. Is it not true? Say edu baby no na ehiafo a omoye menial jobs no. Factories near they are to me nkwaduma and so to your light bill. And yes, you be trying to light bill mu. And until a bank has a money free. Is it not true? You need budget, yes, free baby.
Now how about Sika you see in
you're spending
from World Bank $1 billion.
Ni na ka ho. Sa sika yenya ni nyina ka ho.